First there was TONEX, then there was TONEX Firmware 2, followed by Nano Cortex, and now we have Nano Cortex Firmware 2. And as a long-time TONEX user, I'm looking at the Nano Cortex version 2 and I'm thinking maybe I should jump ship, just maybe. So in this video we're going to have a look at what each has got, the advantages and disadvantages, and the question is it worth my while jumping from one platform to another? So in this video I'm going to go through some things that will help me make a decision and might help you make a decision, and I'd love to know your thoughts on them as we go. What we're going to do is a feature by feature, blow by blow comparison of the specifications of each of these units. I will keep a score and we'll see what comes out on top. Let's go for it. So since we're comparing features, I've made a chart. I love a chart. Let's have a look. Looking at the very first page of my comparison chart, obviously the first things are obvious. Yes, they can both do captures. That's easy. Create captures, well, yes and no. The Nano Cortex on its own, yes, it can create captures. However, the TONEX, you need the software on your computer, and then you need the hardware as well. Now, TONEX or IK Multimedia make their own proprietary little box that does the captures for you, or you can use a third-party, reamping box. And then you can make your own captures. But you do need extra stuff, whereas the Nano Cortex does it on its own. So I think that's a win for the Nano, really, isn't it? Cab IRs, yes, they both do cab IRs. EQs, yes, they've both got EQs. However, the Nano Cortex has a 3-band parametric, it's got a high and a low cut, and it's got a 9-band graphic. Whereas on the TONEX, you've got a 3-band parametric, and you've got a deepener presence, but you can't really control them very much. So as far as EQs are concerned, I think the Nano absolutely wins hands down. Customizable signal path, yes, you can move the blocks around in both of them, that's not a problem, and they're both on a win for that. They've both got noise gates, however the Nano has 2, and everybody, I think it's alright, but everybody complains about the noise gate on the TONEX. Don't know why, it seems alright to me, but hey ho. Effects blocks, well, the Nano Cortex has 5 blocks and the TONEX has 3. So that's a win for the Nano. So far, the Nano seems to be streaking ahead. Let's have a look at compression. Yeah, the TONEX has got a compressor. It can go in front or behind. However, the Nano Cortex has got 4 compressors, okay, and these are all based on legendary compressors, if you like. So again, that one goes to the Nano. Modulation, now here's where it really starts to rip, because the TONEX, yes, it's got chorus, tremolo, phaser, flanger, and a rotary, and they are all really good sounding. I really like them, especially the chorus. I love that chorus. However, the Nano has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different modulation effects. I don't think it's got a rotary, but it's got flanges, it's got a few different choruses, it's got TC choruses, it's got boss choruses, it's got a phase 95, I'm guessing that's a phase 90, correct me if I'm wrong. It's got a univibe on it and a flanger. So yeah, it's got a lot more in chorus wise, but then it hasn't quite got the breadth. So I don't know, there's more there, there's a univibe. We'll call that a tie, but leaning towards the Nano, I think. Then as far as delays are concerned, well, the TONEX has a digital delay and it's got a tape delay, and you can set either one to ping pong stereo left and right, or you can set them to be mono. Whereas the Nano has a tape delay, it's got an analog delay, a digital delay, a dual delay, a dual reverse delay, and a circular delay. I'm not sure what that is. So I think the Nano Cortex wins the delay race. Sorry, couldn't resist. Wah-wahs. Right, the TONEX hasn't got a wah-wah. The Nano Cortex has got 4 different wah-wahs. It's got a bass wah, a Buddha wah. It's got a crying wah, which is, I'm guessing, a crybaby, and a crying Clyde, which I'm guessing is some kind of variation upon that. So hands down, Nano Cortex. Filters. Well, there's no filter effects on the TONEX. The Nano Cortex has 2. It's got an envelope filter and it's got a love meat filter. Clueless. No idea what that is, but it sounds intriguing. Overdrives. Wow. Well, the TONEX notoriously has no overdrives. However, the Nano Cortex is pulling a lot of stuff from its big brother there. Obsessive drive, the OD250, the Rodent drive. These are all based on famous drives. That's a rat, you know. You got a phase fuzz, which I'm assuming is a phase fuzz. A green 808, which is going to be a tube screamer, isn't it? All sorts of things. Wow, and there's even a couple of bass drives on there. So streets ahead. And the biggest complaint a lot of people have with the TONEX is that it hasn't got drives on board. You've got to actually bake the drive into your capture if you want something that's got drive on it. And a lot of people who don't do their own captures are sort of stuck with third-party captures and people adding drives as they feel like it rather than as you would feel like it. So really, your only other option is to use an actual drive pedal or a modeler with a drive pedal in front. Big win for the Nano. Okay, pitch effects. We're talking actual pitch shifting effects. So the Nano Cortex has a transpose, and it's a really good transpose. You want to drop your tuning down? You can do it with this. That's really handy. The TONEX doesn't do anything like that at all. Other bits and pieces? Well, the Nano's got a doubler on it, and if you listen to some of the demos of this doubler, it sounds great. It turns one guitar into 2 guitars, literally doubled as you'd expect, and you've got quite a bit of control over it as well. The TONEX has none of that. MIDI control, this is interesting. Okay, so the Nano Cortex can do program change, but it can't really do anything else at the minute. So you can't use control changes to go in and change your effects. I don't even think you can turn your effects on and off within a preset with control change. Correct me if I'm wrong. However, the TONEX lets you do program change and it lets you do control change. So every parameter on every effect in the TONEX can be tweaked. So if you want to turn your chorus on and off, yes, you can turn your chorus on and off with a control change, but you can also change the length of your delay, the amount of gain you've got on your amps, all sorts of things you can choose to do with control change. The Nano Cortex has none of that. So that's a huge win, in my opinion, for the TONEX. Huge win. Tuners. They've both got tuners. However, the Nano Cortex, you've got to get your phone out and use it through the app. You're not going to do that, are you really? And the TONEX lets you hold down one of the buttons and it then goes into its own tuner mode and you've got a little display on the screen. Battle of the tuners is absolutely TONEX. Tap tempo. Now here's a bit of a biggie. The Nano Cortex doesn't do tap tempo. Again, it's to do that control change thing and external controls, and you've only got 2 buttons there, so it doesn't do tap tempo. That's an absolute killer for me because there's nothing worse than a delay that's out of time. Whereas the TONEX, it does have a tap tempo. You can even put it on an external pedal as well, so you still get your 3 pedals and you've got your extra pedal for your tap tempo and your tuner. Gapless switching, they both do, which is a huge bonus. Okay, extra features. Now the Nano Cortex, you get the Nano Cortex and it's great and it does a lot. The TONEX, well, TONEX give you IK Multimedia's Amplitude 5, which is really good. It only runs on your computer, but it's for the studio and for recording, so you can't take it out live. But it's a nice little bonus. So there we go, we've got a lot of wins in both directions. Let's tally it up. So the grand results are, drum roll. That was a shit drum roll. The results are, well, I hate to say it, Nano Cortex has come in streets ahead. We've got 12 wins for the Nano Cortex as opposed to 4 for the TONEX. I've not counted the draws, I've just left them out altogether. But the TONEX only won on program change, tuner, tap tempo, and having amplitude with it as a freebie. So only 4 things that the TONEX won on. It didn't win on any of the sounds. The big loser for the TONEX was the drives, in my opinion. Really, the Nano Cortex deserves 2 or 3 wins for that because it's got loads of drives and, you know, it's a big deal having the drives there. What do you think? Should I dump my TONEX and go for the Nano Cortex? If you're buying for the first time, really there's no competition there. There is a bit of a price difference, but what you get for your money is a huge amount more. And you never know, tap tempo and control change may well arrive at some point. Okay, if you got something from the video, if you've made a choice, if you haven't, let me know, put a comment below, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.